I'm Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Wait, actually, we didn't mention I got married. That's why we were out for so long.
Yay!
Yay.
Congratulations, Maddie. And
Thank
DK.
you. Thank you.
But mostly Maddie.
Thank you. Today we're going to talk about 1000xRESIST or 1000xRESIST. You know, who knows?
We'll never know. We'll never know.
I think I've been saying 1000xRESIST, but I don't know what the creator wants. Anyways, we'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception. Then we'll take you on... Well, actually, we're not going to do the creation part today.
Guys, you need to, be patient with us a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that we're back here and doing this episode, I think we're pretty impressive. We're getting back.
Yeah. Where was I? Deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. We'll close with if we recommend it, who we'd recommend it to, and last but not least, our personal rating. With that, let's commune with our sisters.
With our sisters.
I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so really briefly, I did pull up the reviews. It does have an overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, which is really good. I mean, that's about as good as you could do. And then the Metacritic score is an 86, which is also quite high.
Oh, that's really good.
And has a 7.8 user score. So that's also pretty high, honestly. Yeah, it was received really well. I mean, from what I'm seeing so far, it's very much the story being super gripping, really interesting, very well done.
This one I think will be an interesting one to talk about because I think I would put myself in the positive/mixed category.
I would too.
And oh, okay. All right. So I think it'll be interesting to chat through. I guess I didn't have any idea what this was when you recommended we play it. I thought it was an action game. And that's not what this is.
It is so not what this is. I also didn't really fully know what this was. I had just heard it was one of the better games of last year. And I had it on my list from that, from all of the gaming podcasts I listened to, just giving it really glowing reviews. And I knew it was really heavy on the story, but I thought there was going to be some level of combat for some reason. I kind of thought that there would be turn-based combat or something, but there is no combat at all.
There's no combat. I think the thing that threw me is the trailer opening sequence is literally running and jumping with a knife, spear, whatever it is. No, it's not either one of those things. It's a spoiler for me to tell you what it is. But a very sharp object pierced into a person. And so I guess in my head that meant there's combat because I assumed that was not a cutscene and an actual interaction. So I think that's what made me think that it was going to be more of an action game, but it was very much more so a visual novel, an interactive visual novel.
Very sci-fi-y. Yeah.
Yes. Do we want to I can read the description?
Yeah.
If we want to do that?
Yeah.
So from Steam, 1000xRESIST or 1000xRESIST is a thrilling sci-fi adventure. The year is unknown, and as disease spread by an alien invasion keeps you underground. You are Watcher. You dutifully fulfill your purpose in serving the All-Mother until the day you discover a shocking secret that changes everything.
Whoa.
Yeah. I will say this game was heavy too on the COVID trauma.
It was interesting. It was very heavy. Yeah.
It was a heavy game. I think that do we want to go ahead and do it chapter by chapter and people know that this is just going to be full spoilers like normal? Do we
Yeah, that feels good. My notes are in chronological order. So let's do first impressions first. Then we're going to do a quick summary of the whole story. So spoilers. And then
Mhm.
we're kind of just going to dig into the parts that were interesting
Yeah.
that we want to talk about. So, first impressions, Bridget.
So for me, this game started off really confusing.
Yeah.
Again, because I didn't understand what the context of the game was that we were about to get into. As soon as we started, one, like I did really like the visuals. I thought the visuals were very cool. They were
Mm-hmm.
colorful, very opinionated. I will say that they were a little bit hard to see sometimes. Like I had kind of a hard time understanding what I was in the room with in dark scenes at the beginning. But overall, I really liked the art style. The dialogue, though, that you get at the very beginning was so confusing for me. My notes at the beginning are literally just like, is this Iris and her sister? Is this the person Watcher? Does Watcher kill her mother, Iris? But I thought they were sisters. And then literally it was just like these dialogue options I do not understand. And then I
The
said
dialogue
not
options were
biological sisters.
yeah.
They were like, I don't remember, I didn't write down exactly what the dialogue options were, but they were very, very confusing, and you needed like full context of the story to be able to select one. And so I think the very beginning I was just very lost, and I was like, what did Maddie pick for us?
I am kind of like yeah.
Yeah, but I will say too that once this game, like the first impression of the game, I probably wasn't excited to continue, and I think that's one of the reasons that it took us longer to get to this episode, honestly. And I do think that it picked up for me later, but at the beginning, I don't know that I was super excited. It felt like it was going to be maybe a little cliche sci-fi stuff, and I couldn't tell just yet, you know. What about
Yeah.
you, Maddie?
Yeah, I just was like very like vibey sci-fi is like what it was giving, like just very like its own language in a way, to your point, right? Everything that you select at the beginning and then kind of immediately opening with the murder was interesting. And
Yeah.
then the other thing that was interesting is I think I accidentally restarted it. So I started it twice. And the
Oh.
second time, with the random answers that I chose, there wasn't a murder.
What?
But
did you hallucinate that?
I don't
What
know.
are you talking about?
Maybe not. I don't know. I was so
How
confused.
Could that be true?
I don't
the
know.
The whole story hinges on this murder.
No, the murder still happened at when the story comes back around, but it was just like, wait, did I? Anyways, so
I'm
yes,
choosing to
I think
believe
I was
that you
just like
hallucinated
confused
that.
by the timey-wiminess of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. And then
Mhm.
they kind of just jump you into this world, and it's like Watcher, and just all of the language is all very just, unique and different, and you kind of have to just figure it out. So yeah, that was my first impression, is I was like, vibey, interesting, but also confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, I think if we jump into this first scene, do we actually want to address that later on as we, like, after we run through the summary? I guess
Yeah, because at this point I didn't even know what was going on. I
Okay,
thought
all right,
I
that sounds
thought
good.
she was like, I mean, the thing is also like they all look like each other. So I was just like, is she murdering herself? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what it looked like. Like,
No,
it could have been a dream. It could have been anything. Like, you don't know at all at the beginning. Like, so,
No.
yeah.
I also wrote down a dream question mark.
Yeah.
It was a lot of confusion.
Yeah, it could have been anything. Do you want to try to do a quick summary?
Okay. Our story follows the Watcher. The Watcher, you learn over time, is one of multiple roles that are very important in this society that lives very siloed. We're not really sure where, at the beginning. But you have someone called the Watcher. You have someone called the BBF, which is Bang Bang Fire.
Which sounds like a child made it up, which is so funny.
I know. It was the name. That one name threw me off. There was the Knower, the
Healer.
Crap. What are the Healer? And then
Fixer.
Wasn't there one more? Fixer. There we go. And so each one of those roles plays a very important piece of this society, but we're following the Watcher. And you learn that the Watcher's role is to go back and look through the memories of the All Mother and experience what the All Mother experienced. And you're not really sure why. As time goes on, you learn all the complicated bits, which is that everyone is actually clones of the All Mother.
Yep.
The All Mother is a normal girl, quote unquote normal. She, for some reason, has a resistance to this big pandemic that was international. Like, it took out everything, I'm pretty sure, right?
Everyone. Yep.
Yeah. And that pandemic actually was the result of aliens coming to the planet, and it had something to do. This part, like, honestly, I made up a little bit because I didn't fully understand it, but the emotions were so strong from these aliens that the actual sickness was that you kind of like cried yourself to death or something crazy.
Yeah, it's something like that. And I don't think it was the emotions from the aliens. It was just like, it's kind of like how when settlers, like when colonizers like came to the Americas, they spread smallpox or something, right? Like, I think it was like these aliens like spread some sort of disease, but the disease made you cry until all of your body fluids were out of you, which is like really brutal.
Yeah, horrifying, literally horrifying. And all the posters in the game also like mention that, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, pandemic, this one girl is immune, so they take her off to be studied and clone her in order to figure out how to spread this immunity. We are now in the future where we have all of these different clones. The interesting backstory is that there was an original set of sisters that had these powers. One of them in particular, the other Watcher. Yes, she was a Watcher, right?
Yeah, she was a Watcher.
Yes, the original Watcher betrayed the All Mother by breaking her one rule, which is they were not allowed to clone. And they chose to clone Zhao, who we'll find out was a long lost childhood friend that died in the pandemic. Friend in quotes.
Yeah, of Iris.
The All Mother.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, of the All Mother Iris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those sisters at that point, they were all killed. All the sisters used to have immunity. They no longer have immunity because Iris has taken that away. The only one left is the Watcher, and the Watcher is left alone. The All Mother abandons her. And then you find out as time goes on that the All Mother didn't really abandon, quote unquote, everybody. She's just living in a different part, like where a train goes? ? And the Watcher, the original Watcher, thought to be long gone, is actually still alive, dun dun dun, and is one of the main characters that like rules.
She's named
all of
the principal,
sisters.
And she's like the other role that and they all have colors associated with them, and she's like the red color, and she is the twist is that she's the original sin type sister. And but she kind of rebuilt the society from scratch. Like, she started cloning everyone, and she started making more of these roles and stuff.
Yes.
And then the whole thing at the beginning is that at some point the All Mother calls for you, and you go and live with her. And and you take a train ride, and you go, live with Iris. And it was because the principal was like, well, I made Zhao's and she didn't like that, so I'll make more of me and I'll send them to her and hopefully she likes them. And then they just kind of started building this whole society of like Iris clones, and they don't have immunity because Iris had taken it away. And so because the clones don't have immunity, they don't have immunity when they clone each other. Only the original clones had the immunity. And so the story is kind of this whole like interesting religious society around the All Mother and the sisters and the clones. And there's a lot more clones than just the main roles.
It's like a whole city.
It's like a whole town of clones that are working for each of the main roles too. Yeah. And it's kind of this like the jobs matter a lot, and like when one of them gets called to the All-Mother, then one of their like worker bees gets promoted to be the actual like role or whatever. So it's very
and
interesting.
then the original Sin sister, the crux of the murder right at the beginning, is she's been tricking the main character Watcher the whole time into wanting to turn on the All-Mother, which is why that intro is actually the Watcher that you normally play murdering the All-Mother.
Iris.
And then
who has lived for thousands and thousands of years at this point.
Yes. And we don't get a real explanation for that, do we?
Because she's immune, and then the aliens like her. Okay, the aliens liked her and like kept her alive. Remember, she was like Iris was mine. And it was the one alien that was left. This is the other part of the story that I guess we should get into.
There's a whole second. That's literally the first half of the story, right? Like that's the first half. Do you want to talk through the second half?
Yeah. So the second half is kind of discovering that Watcher was sick, and or the Watcher is now kind of like sick. And oh my gosh, why is this so hard?
The Watcher was tortured. So like after the death of the All-Mother,
you like kind of work backwards from it with like trauma memories. Okay.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the second half begins a little confusingly because all of a sudden you're in a kind of made up town. I don't know how else to describe it, with a brand new character that is not Watcher, and it is now like 50 to 100 years after Watcher has murdered Iris, and it's almost like this sub-level society called miscellaneous, where they don't have like a main sister that they're working for, so like they don't have their colors, and so they just vibe. And so they kind of are just like, you know, existing in this sub society, and you follow a character who is trying to get out of the sub society because she wants to go to the above ground, quote unquote, part of the society, which is actually just the regular society, and they're all underground. But it's very weird. Like they've like bifurcated their society after Iris was murdered, and they put all of the like miscellaneous people below, and they can't go up above, which is really weird. And sad. But then like one of her best friends gets murdered, and then she gets promoted to be in the job that the friend was murdered in. Now she gets to go up above, and then she is she like decides to call herself Blue, because in this society you can name yourself now, whereas before they all just had numbers. And so she names herself Blue, which is very similar to like Watcher, for example, right? Because Watcher's colors were blue. And she, like, TLDR is like, this society is unjust. I'm going to take it down. Blue.
I'm just going to bomb the shit out of it.
She bombs it. You run. You catch the train. And it turns out, so after Iris got murdered, all of the main sisters had to flee, except for the principal and the knower. And the knower is like the librarian, essentially. And the other sisters were like, oh shit's going down. I have to flee. And it turns out they've been just camping out on this train, including Fixer, who is the first character that you get to know. And you get to know that Watcher and Fixer were like best friends, maybe a little bit more than friends. And and at the very beginning, Watcher actually betrays her. And you think
turns her in.
Yeah, turns her in. And you think that she died, but then she didn't. And she's on this train, and they're trying to figure out like how they fix shit. How they fix this whole mess of a society. And you go, the thing about Watchers, the skill that they have is they can go into memories. And I think you mentioned that. But Blue also has this skill, and you kind of figure out that Blue has been communioning, I guess is the word, with Watcher. And so
communing, not communioning. They're not Catholic.
Oh, yeah. Communing, you're right. Has been communing with the Watcher, and so a lot of like what you've seen so far was actually Watcher communing with Blue.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this like weird time thing, and you also learn through that communing through the Watcher with Iris that the original aliens that came down to Earth and what caused all of this pandemic were these just like really giant kind of spectral beings. And they had chosen, it seemed like there was multiple of them at first, and they had each chosen a human that they like had as a companion. And Iris was this one, you know, alien's companion, and didn't really know, like, she didn't really know why she was chosen. And it's just like this really, oh no, I've like lost it again, but it's very interesting.
Confusing.
It's very confusing, but all of this to say you just start to learn a lot more about this world. And then at this point, because Iris died, the new alien is actually this like secretary being that has been
like floats around with you.
That has been the one helping you commune with people. And it is the last one on the planet Earth. It originally arrived with multiple, but the other ones went to different planets. And now it's the last one on the planet. And you're just trying to figure out, how can we save this society of people, like of sisters, right? And Blue wants to save the society. Watcher wants to save the society. What we learned is that Watcher, after she murdered Iris, was tortured like near death by actually
for
nowhere
years.
years, and is about to die. And so the other thing is Blue is trying to get the last pieces of information from Watcher before she dies on like how to fix this. You come up with a plan with Secretary and your original sisters, like the core group, which is Fixer, Bang Bang Fire, and Healer. And you somehow break into... Oh, and then the other thing that's revealed... Oh my god, this is crazy. The other thing that's revealed is you're actually in a ship underwater.
Yes, in the Pacific Ocean.
In the Pacific Ocean. And so Fixer, her whole deal is like, I got to get this ship going, and I want to make it float. Like, we should go back to the surface. And those aliens, there's only one of them left. They're not like overtaking the world anymore. And we should go back and like go back to the surface. And you're trying to figure out how we can make this happen without all of the sisters getting murdered by the principal, who's like on a revenge path, and like the original like Sin sister. And you manage to
do like a group commune. Is that what they end up doing?
You do
like
a group commune. Everybody gets all of the information at once, and then you're given... Secretary says, I'm gonna merge with my body because it's a piece of the main alien, I guess, and merges with the main alien. And then the main alien is like, okay, Blue, help me form this new society. Like, I'm gonna do this for you, and then I'm gonna leave, and then it's gonna be kind of up to you. And so the very last choice that you're making as Blue, with all of this information that you've discovered, and I hope this isn't too confusing for people, but
it's confusing, so you might be a little confused, but we're gonna break down like the bits of it as we go, so
after all of the stuff that you've witnessed, like, what do you want to bring into this new world with you? Like, what attitudes, what values? And you kind of pick some, and this is where like the multiple endings comes in. Although, the then you pick one and you have an ending and you see how that
Yeah.
society turns out. And that's the end of the game.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So simple. So simple.
So simple. Wow.
I feel like we have gone shorter on that. I'm not totally sure. There are so many different moving pieces for this thing. And I still am confused on a little bit, but as we talk through, I'm sure Maddie will teach me.
No, I was super confused too. But I kind of think that's part of it.
I think that's part of it.
I think that's kind of part of it. Yeah. Because they have all these like sayings and it's like hair to hair and blue to red and blah blah blah. Like it's very
and like Hecky, what is it?
Hecky Grace. Yeah.
Hecky Grace.
Yeah. It's got this very unique language. It's very like poetic and like sci-fi-y. So
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to start with our, like, as we run through favorite, least favorite, kind of...
Yeah, I want to go through some of the pieces that I thought were really interesting about the story. Like,
okay.
So as I was, like, experiencing this story, like, from the beginning, you kind of start to realize, wow, Iris sucks. Like,
literally sucks. She's the worst.
She sucks. And it's this all-mother who everyone is praising. This whole religion was built on this woman. And as the watcher, we're like reliving her memories. And she had a friend, like one of the primary relationships in this whole game is she had a friend, Zhao, and literally called her Dumpster Zhao. And was really horrible to her in school. And then it seems like because Zhao died and in the pandemic, she feels this like guilt about how she treated her. And you just start uncovering like more and more like memories and layers of the story. And she just sucks. And
she sucked.
It's really interesting. And her parents, it kind of touches on like parental relationships in those memories too, because her dad, like, her dad and mom obviously really love her, and her dad is very, like, very loving, and her mom is, like, more stereotypical, like, strict parent, who, of course, she resents, but like, her mom's not even that bad.
And part of what I had wondered if her attitude was, and this is me speaking as a like white person who grew up in Indiana with a bunch of other white people, so I don't want to like misrepresent here, but a part of the thing that I got from it was they were a family that were transplants into Canada, right?
Yeah.
From Asia. And Zhao was also from Asia, and they clearly stood out for being Asian.
Yeah.
And so I think a part of it, and I don't want to like read too much into Iris's story here, because again, I don't have an experience like that, but it kind of felt to me like she maybe resented Zhao for making her feel different. Because she was like, I got the vibe that she wanted to assimilate. And because during some of the memories that we get with like her and her family, like her dad wanted to make her noodles.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I want American, or not American food. I want Canadian. Yeah, I want food that is very typical in Canada. And
my friends like pizza, not noodles. Yeah.
Exactly. And I had wondered if there was a little bit of resentment that she had built with her, which is why she was so mean, is because it was like confronting her with the fact that she couldn't assimilate if she was forced to like hang out with her. And her mother like wanted her to be kind to Zhao because, you know, she was like her and she wanted her to feel comfortable, right? Very good intentions. And so was Iris still terrible to her? Yes, absolutely. She was bad. But I wonder, like, it felt like it came from maybe that place of...
It definitely did, but she was still just an asshole.
Oh, yeah. No, she was a super asshole. You do not need friends like Iris.
No, she just sucks. And then at one point in one of the memories, she microwaved her hamster to death.
So was that real? So, like, I wasn't sure if that was, like, a planted memory from the
Oh
principal,
my
because
gosh,
like, she's
wait. Maybe it was. I don't know. Oh my god.
because what kind of psychopath microwaves their hamster, okay?
I
That
don't
is
know. That's why I thought
serial killer
it
BS.
is. That's why I was like, wow, Iris really sucks. Like the more layers like you pull on this story, like as you keep living more of Iris's memories. Because the other thing that's really interesting is you you learn that when Iris was in high school, they had a big like high school dance, and literally
Mm,
every kid got sick and died
mhm.
except for Iris at that school
God, ugh,
dance. And
yeah.
so, of course, like the government comes in and is like, hey, we want to study you and it's
Mhm.
your choice. You're 18, so we would like you to come with us. And the parents are like, no, I don't want you to go. I don't,
Right.
I do not want you to go with them. Because of course they don't. But Iris is like, well, I'm going to go with them. And Iris's mom is like, just so you know, like you're doing this, I'm never going to see you again. Like you're leaving us forever. Like these are the
Mhm.
implications of your choice. And Iris still decides to go. And um
She
but
does promise she'll come back.
she
She never
promises
does, but
she does at the very very end.
no, that was fake. I'm pretty sure that was, like, conjured shenanigans, like, she
What?
never comes back.
What? Oh
Yeah,
my
she
god.
definitely never comes back. She lives underwater in this Pacific Ocean ship until the very, very end when we come back. Or I guess she
Oh
dies,
my
but
god, you're
yeah.
so right. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Ugh. See, the story is so trippy. You're like, what's real, what's not?
Yes.
Okay. No, you're right, because then like that was like a closure conversation with her imaginary
Yes.
parents. Got it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Whoa. I thought maybe she went back.
No, she definitely did not go back. That girl did not go back.
um and you do learn that they start experimenting on her, and it is a society of elite military
Military.
personnel.
Blech.
Maybe like a couple hundred of them, like 100, 200, or something, and they've
Yeah.
all like isolated themselves on a ship because they don't want the disease to keep spreading. And so
Mhm.
everyone's kind of quarantined, and then they're experimenting on Iris, hoping that they can find the cure because Iris is immune.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I'd love to talk about some of those beginning scenes when we're starting to learn who Iris is the gameplay element of it, because
Wait, no, she
this
did go
game.
back though. Remember? Because in the flashback, she goes back to high school, and they're like, "This is dangerous. Why are we letting her do this?" I guess that must
Yeah,
have
that
been
was before she
before they got
left.
on the ship. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So in those beginning early scenes, we start in these memories of her at the high school, right? The gameplay was really, really interesting
Mm-hmm.
because the key thing that you can do throughout this as the watcher is hopping in between different like time periods in the same
Yeah, with like
space.
bumpers. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're during like before the high school dance, and then it's after the high school dance and everyone's dead, and then it's like different interim moments in between that, and you have to do things like you would expect in a video game, right? Like, oh, that door is blocked. I'm going to go to a different time period and like walk through that door and
Mm-hmm.
then go back to the other time period. That kind of thing. But it was fun and puzzly, and that mechanic doesn't happen anywhere else effectively. Like at the beginning, it's a
Yeah.
puzzle game. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually kind of fun
Yeah.
whenever that mechanic finally pops up. And then every other time that you use it, it's a story mechanic where you're
Yep.
just moving the story along by zooming into the next time
Yep.
period, which is still like an interesting way to tell the story, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like the puzzle mechanic I got a bite of at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I felt like there was a little bit of a roller coaster for me because at the very beginning of this thing in the school where we're learning all these emotions and ooh, Iris is terrible and like I don't know, it's really interesting and there's a giant pigeon. Was it a pigeon? I can't remember
Yes,
what it was.
pigeon it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all trippy and weird. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It was a little cliche. They kept doing the thing like, what's a dispenser? Or like, oh, they used to leak red instead of have their periods. I don't know. They did like weird shit like that. That's very
Yeah.
sci-fi. And so like I was mixed, but I was still kind of like feeling it a little. And then that mechanic never came back. It was just story, like pressing the A button could have, you know what I mean?
No, you're right. It was interesting because like in there's like another part in the cave where you're uncovering the story about the aliens and it's just used as like a fast forward.
Yeah.
And you can go back because the order matters. So like if you want to relive like the order of the clues because you have to input the order of the clues in the right order, but it's not like, to your point, it's not like a navigation or like a puzzle that's necessarily about like navigating the environment and times at the same time. It's mostly just like time.
Yeah. Which I thought like, I don't know. I feel they had those first little mechanics that shone through there. I really liked it. I thought it was a very cool way to tell the story. And then
it's also interesting because there's a part where it's almost like because they set that up, there's parts where you think that's a thing and it's not.
Yeah, and it's not at all. Yeah. Because like everything after this, so like the first memory is your first commune.
Yeah.
With
communion.
Commune is a different thing.
I think it is communion.
No.
Yes, I really do think it's a communion.
I mean, I use the word commune commune all through my thing, but maybe
who knows?
I don't know.
I use communion, but you know, it's so possible that I'm wrong.
We'll never know. It's just like mind melding, right, guys? So the like first sets are you communing with your other sisters and taking them together with you into these other memories, and everything else after the beginning gets really linear. So you're literally just like going through her childhood bedroom and then seeing this scene and then going seeing her parents' living room. It's a very like linear piece. Although again, like some of the pieces are very emotional, like at the very beginning of those childhood scenes, the like what is it? Sometimes you don't fit in the backpack, and they use that line so many times through it, and it means so much, guys. Like if you play the game, you'll understand. Sometimes you just don't fit in the backpack.
Yeah.
But anyway, like it was so good. The linear use of the time is still a really interesting way to tell the story. I was just a little like disappointed, I guess.
Yeah. I think for me, again, like it's such a fascinating story and it's so complex, and like that's why I kind of want to like I'm sure there's a YouTube video, and maybe we should have been those creators that's like, let me break it down for you. But I'm not smart enough. I don't think I'm smart enough.
We are. We just don't have 15 hours to do it. So
yeah. I'm sure there's like a YouTuber that has done like a breakdown video that I need to catch up on. But I think for me, it just kept adding. And I was just like, how is this going to resolve? It felt like Lost in a way, right? Like the show.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch the show, but you know, something similar.
You didn't watch Lost? Not Penny's Boat?
I didn't.
Oh my God. Oh no. How do we fix that? Is it too late? Oh, I don't know.
Or I guess Severance is like another recent one where you're just like, this just keeps getting more and more, and like I don't know how they're possibly going to resolve this. I think they landed it pretty well. Like I do think they ended up like landing it pretty well, but there's still just like it was still pretty confusing, and I wonder if it's kind of meant for a second playthrough for full comprehension.
Actually, speaking of confusing and second playthroughs, you actually have to, at some point during this game, it acts like the game is over.
Yes.
And you get booted out of the game. And unless you press play again to start again, you think the game is over. And I actually read people on Reddit after, like, I played the game, and I was like, I always like to read about it afterwards. There were literally people
Oh.
who were like, I don't understand why people like this game so much, like, blah, 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 blah. And there were a ton that were like, did you like keep playing? Like,
Oh
where did you stop? What was the last
no.
scene? And multiple people actually did not realize they were supposed to go back into the game because it wasn't super clear. And because everything's so confusing, I feel like it was hard to know that you were supposed to go back in. I second guessed it, and then I was like, maybe that's what this is. And so then I tried and jumped back in. But I definitely wasn't confident that I was supposed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I did say, like, am I starting over? And then you jump back in and you're like in a city and you're like, huh? um
Okay.
But it's obviously this like small fake city, and then you learn later that it was part of building the ship to make people that like the original group that was on that ship of the military personnel feel more at home. They like put a theme park
I don't
almost.
think I realized that.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that's like the story that you uncover when because the other thing with the Watchers, like the power that they get is you can commune with dead people. And so you start like communing with people that were like their dead bodies that were really well preserved
really
on the
well
ship.
Preserved.
And start learning kind of about like the ship itself that they were all on with Iris and like what happened with it. And you learn that there was originally like 60 something or like 70 something ships in the Pacific with people that were isolating, and all of the other ones ended up dying out, and then Iris ended up murdering all of the people on this one, or a lot of them.
But she didn't, right? She didn't actually murder them.
She murdered one of them that set everyone off. She murdered the main girl that was doing the experiments on her.
But I thought that was fake.
Then that caused the martial law. Then the martial law, like, because she was the person in charge. And so when Iris murdered the person in charge, everyone else was freaking out. And then they started, like, gunning each other down.
Oh, but she did kill the first one. She just didn't kill everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lie was that she killed everyone, but she really only killed the one.
That set off everyone else dying, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, like, I am learning real time some of this stuff because as you go through the first half when you're communing and the memories, you literally get told later that the principal did something with the memories to make you not like her. And so I don't know what's real and not real.
That's such a good point.
About how Iris behaved. Like, I don't know if she actually exploded the hamster. I don't know if she killed everybody. It's hard to tell.
You actually don't know if she was that much of an asshole to Zhao, I guess, either.
I guess that's a good point, too. We don't actually know if she was.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy.
So I don't know if I should dislike or like Iris or not, but I feel like if anything, she let this cult religion thing exist.
Empathy for her. I do feel empathy for Iris, who's like the only one left, and like that's a weird experience.
That's true. Yeah. And I do imagine like harboring that guilt for Zhao so long, like that can't be easy. I do think it's interesting though that we didn't mention, but in the second half of the game, it's not just Iris clones now, it's Zhao clones also.
Yep.
And so you do eventually get a lot more of them. And I think the relationship between the two, I don't know, I think you're probably right that Iris was still mean to her.
Yeah.
Because Zhao is meant to believe that Zhao is more like a servant of Iris.
Yeah.
And not on equal footing. And so I have to imagine that some of the
and that
treatment.
Part of the resistance at the end was the Zhao faction that was rebelling because they were like servants to Iris's. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was a really interesting spin on that relationship.
Totally. And it was obviously a made up thing that Iris forced upon her, right? Like Zhao's weren't born to like kiss her ass.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Oh, poor Zhao. She's really the one who got the short end of the stick for all of this.
Yeah. I was curious, like, so one of the things that I thought at the ending, because at the very ending, the thing that I think was really interesting about it is you get this point where you have all of the different characters that you've met across your timey-wimey journey. And you turn the lights off on the characters or the things that they represent that you don't want to bring into the new society. And so you have your parents, and they represent like history and your family, and they, that kind of part of your life. And then you have the Zhaos who represent like your friend and the wrongs that you did against her or whatever. And then you have like a religious section, and you have the principal, and you can like bring her in, and then you have like the police, and you have the sisters that helped you like break out of everything. You have the knower, who was the really ambiguous one who tortured you, but then also like helped you in a way.
Very selfish. I think they're very self-motivated.
Yes, totally. So then it was really interesting because you go through and you like turn the lights off, and you're like, I don't want religion in my new society. I don't want police in my new society or whatever, right? Like, and that determines the outcome that you get. And I thought that was just a really cool and interesting way, because it's like, even though they're all clones of the same person, except for the Zhaos, but even though they're mostly all clones of the same person, they all have their own thoughts, their own feelings. Like, I thought it was a really interesting way to explore that. Like, they all have such unique ways of being. And you end up with all of these different factions of this society of clones.
Yeah. It's a lot of nurture versus nature.
Yeah. It's so interesting, right? Because like theoretically they would all pretty much be the same. And you also end up getting like moments of romance between sisters.
Yeah.
And it's very...
I definitely think that there was some romance going on.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And it's just very interesting how but it didn't feel weird. Like...
No, it was just sweet.
Yeah, it didn't feel weird. And it's weird that it didn't feel weird,
Well, I mean, you even get, did you see the was it Fixer singing a song? That was one of the sweetest moments of the whole game. Oh man, it was so beautiful. But yeah, I definitely feel like it didn't feel weird at all. They felt like their own individual, unique people, even though they were
literally all clones. Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought the ending was really interesting because I don't know how long it took you to get an ending that was actually like a good, like a final ending to let you do it. Okay, I did too. So I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Did you leave the principal alive or dead? Did you turn off her light? Okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm sure we got that same ending. I was like, police? Nah. Principal? Nah. Religion? No.
Very clear cut.
I did let the knower live, but I don't think that impacted it. I ended up looking into it. It didn't impact it.
I think that I killed the knower. I was pretty ticked at the
torture. Yeah.
The willingness to do whatever it took. And that felt like it crossed the line, even if sometimes it benefited me. I had a really hard time. The one that I had a hard time with actually were the religious zealots.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, so when I play video games, I'll Fallout, for example, I am usually really bad at doing things against what I would naturally do. Like, I have a really hard time playing, like, the evil path. Like, I always say I'm going to, and then I never do.
Yeah.
And when we get to these lights, it's hilarious that I ended up actually doing the right thing on the first try, because I sat there for, like, a second, and I'm like, well, do I let them all live? Like, I feel like I have a hard time judging who should stay and who should go. And then I'm like, well, no, things have to change because this will just like redo again. And then I was like, oh shit. And so then I went through and did all the lights, and I sat there with the religious zealots for so long because the people in the light were innocent. Like, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't do anything to you. They didn't hurt you. They didn't hurt other people. And like, when you talk to them, they were just like, please let us like live our religion in peace. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then I walked away and I came back and I'm like, no, because that spiraled into this whole society
In
that
the
like
first place,
worship
right?
in the
Yeah.
first place. And I'm like, if I leave that here, will that be like a seed of just repeating everything that already happened? So then I turned off the light, and I cannot tell you, like, I don't know, it was a really cool way to do a
Yep.
choose your own quote unquote ending. And I know that technically you could do whatever you wanted and then go submit it, but they will literally tell you, like, I watched some videos of it, they'll literally be like, you chose wrong, like everybody's gonna die now, like, why would you do that? And then you have to do it over again before you actually find like a reasonable combination. They don't have to be exactly the same, but like a reasonable one. But I thought it was very cool the way that they did it.
Yeah, I got the good one, and there's a good one and a bad one that are the final endings. If you leave the principal alive, then it's the bad ending. That is still valid, because then like principal just takes over everything again.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. And it's the same. And like the principal like murders like all this other people, and like it's like brand new and whatever. But no, I got the one that they all died, but even then it was kind of bleak. You know?
It was still bleak. It was hopeful and bleak because you like rise up to the surface.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's concluded on whether you really are just the last one or if it's just all the clones and that's the only ones who are left. Because like we technically learn that Iris's mother was also immune.
Yep.
And so maybe there are more immune people out there.
But then if that wasn't a real conversation, how do we know that was real?
You know what? That's a good point, because we wouldn't actually see that conversation because it wasn't a memory, because it was just the two parents. And
unless it was like, a real conversation and she went back and talked to her mom.
No, it was not. She couldn't go back because it's emphasized some other time that she like never went back, I thought.
Well, I mean, she is at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. So... But I thought maybe the like alien being that was like kind of like God would like let her. Yeah.
Yeah, like port her for like a day. Just
I don't know.
Hey, what's that? Didn't the dad commit suicide?
Yeah. Did he do that? That was really sad.
Yeah. It was a really
but
hard.
Also, it was like a really like sweet moment in a way too, because he, like, the parents survived for so long, and then he, like, the other part of it, the history of it, it seems, is that they were from China during the Cultural Revolution, and they fled the Chinese Cultural Revolution, which was like pretty violent. And that's why they were in Canada, because they were like, you know, escaping because they didn't want to get arrested. And the because the Cultural Revolution in China didn't work. And so all of the people who were, you know, revolting or whatever were getting arrested, and they fled back. They fled to Canada, and that was like part of it. And he was like, I always wanted to go back home. And then he committed suicide, and he was like back home. It was like, it was like kind of a, he was like, I knew I would always come back here. And it was this very kind of sweet, bittersweet moment. I don't know.
Bittersweet. I think bittersweet's the,
yeah.
I feel like,
this
you
game
said it right
touches
at the beginning.
on
It's
so
heavy.
many. Yes, it's so heavy, and it's really, it's almost just kind of like one you have to experience if you want. If it sounds like something you would want.
Yeah. I will say that one of the things I wrote down about it was my like fourth to last note was, this game does not know the value of brevity. Was one of the notes I took. And I wasn't sure how you felt about it, because you are like, I don't want to say I'm not a reader. Like, I read books, I read shit, like I read, but also I get really tired if I'm not really into it.
Yeah.
And this game at multiple instances not only like reiterated the same things like a lot, but also like it would be a moment that was really dramatic. So to make it feel really dramatic, we're going to have you run at like 0.1 mile an hour for at least 2 minutes. And I'm just like, I didn't need that to feel like the emotional satisfaction.
That reminds me, I did not love the mechanic that they would do in the flashbacks where you had to like lock on and like zoom.
Oh, yeah. I didn't understand why that was there.
I think it was just like a way to make it interesting and like add gameplay, but I almost wish they wouldn't have done that. Although
No.
I like they had these really interesting in some of the memories. They would be these like huge scapes. I don't know how else to say that, but like these big scapes of things, and there's objects floating around, and you like use your triggers to lock on and like zoom to a point to like get to the character again. And some of that did feel a little like time wasty.
Yeah. It definitely felt similar to when games try to throw in like like visual novels throw in mini games so that it feels like a video game. Like I'd rather you just lean into what you are and only do it if it serves the story. Like I remember I went to a GDC talk last year on mini games and inside of games. And I really liked it because one of the things they emphasize is like, if you're going to do a mini game, it should serve some part of the story. It's either going to serve building like the culture of the story, the setting, the blah, blah, blah. Like the example in that case is like a card game. Like they built a whole card game that also represented a lot of the culture of the game that they were building. But like this mini game just felt like a there for the sake of being there.
Yep.
And they had so much opportunity with the other mechanics. They should have just left that one out and spent more time baking the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Like you really didn't need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to like do our wrap up thoughts?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I mean, I know we just kind of like dogged on like some of the mechanics. But I do think ultimately it was a really fascinating story. I really liked the ship stuff at the end where you were like kind of piecing together what happened on the ship. I thought that part was really well done because you were like finding the different spirits and like you would do the time shift again. And this is where it was like an interesting use of the time shift because you would want to follow the spirits like with each time shift and like find a new piece of the story, and they were standing in different areas of the ship. So I do think they had some really interesting stuff going on and like a really powerful story. I think to your point though, I still ultimately feel like there were parts of it that were just not for me and that were like maybe taking a little bit too long to get to the end. Whereas like I just felt like it could have used like a bit of an edit, but I still thought it was really good. I do need to go find that like YouTube video that explains everything to me, and like it is one of those things that you'll think about, right? Like I will be thinking about this story for a long time, and so I always appreciate when that happens. So I did give it a 3.5 out of 5. But I could not give it a 4. I just can't do that, you know?
Yeah. I think I'm in a pretty similar boat. For me, I feel like it was a combination of a few of the things we talked about. So it was a pretty roller coaster, my interest in the story, actually. Like I started off not interested because I was so confused. During the center, I was like really, really into it. Like I stayed up till maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, oh my God, this is so good. I want to know what happens. And then for me, the ending actually fell off a bit because it got muddled again until the final end when I was like, oh, that was really good.
It's such a roller coaster, yeah.
It was very roller coastery for me. I also thought that, like I said, the brevity wasn't there. They used a lot of words to say something that I feel like could be pretty simple to say. And that to me, I'm not the biggest fan. And then the story itself, I thought was really interesting. I loved the idea of this whole clone society. I liked that it had that angle of what it was like to be an immigrant in Canada with like so much complexity surrounding that. I thought that was really an interesting way that they portrayed it. And I really liked the finale. That ending was just a really good ending. And there were a lot, as much as I didn't like the lack of brevity in a lot of the dialogue and the text and stuff, there were a lot of powerful moments
Mm-hmm.
in it and a lot of really good storytelling. So the line that I kept saying of like, sometimes you don't fit in the backpack is something that is like highlighted when she leaves to go, to that Pacific Ocean base. It's something that gets repeated a lot near the end and like hammered home a little bit. It's like, you can't take everything. Everything can't go with you. Like, what do you pick? What are the things? And I just felt like there were a lot of stuff that really resonated, and it felt very thoughtful. It felt like the creators had something that they really wanted to get across and say, and I thought they picked a really creative way to do it. Like, it wasn't just a visual novel. Like, they had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
elements that made it interesting. So like, looking at the whole picture, especially if you're a visual novel person, you
Yeah.
love stuff like that. If you're really into sci-fi, I would fully recommend it. I think
Totally.
it was a very interesting thing to experience. I think for me, the gameplay pieces, I know that gameplay isn't what you hinge visual novels on, so
Yep.
like act on that, but they weren't very good for me, other than like the few moments where I was like, ooh, that's really nice. But this was a pretty long game for just a few moments of, ooh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
And it was pretty muddled in a lot of places. So I think for similar reasons, if we're doing halves, I would do 3.5, but otherwise I'd probably bump down to 3 versus 4.
Yeah.
Because I just, not everything hit for me, but I totally see why people are really connecting with it. And I think it was great that the game got made in general. You know what I mean?
No.
I just don't
I
like
completely agree. I think we're on the same page on this one, which like
Mhm.
at one point I had texted you because I like binged this on my flight home and I was like, this better pay off. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by it kind of felt like
Yes.
Lost. So like, I think if you are the kind of person that loves like weird, trippy stories, like this is, you do have to be ready for some heaviness, but like, if that's your
Mhm.
thing, I think this is right up your alley.
Yeah. And I thought the characters were interesting.
Totally.
We didn't,
Even if you didn't really like
get too
them,
much.
like,
Yeah. Even if you didn't like them, they were still like very unique in each of their personalities, which I thought was impressive.
yeah, for being clones.
For being clones.
Yeah.
It also took me way too long to figure out that they were clones.
No,
Even though they looked identical.
It did not. Bridget.
Yes, it did. I don't have this ability. I think the haircuts, they were all different. Okay, guys, the clothes and the haircuts were different.
They were.
But there is a line at some point where I was like, I'm pretty sure they're clones, and
They have like clone pods and everything.
Yeah. It's fine. So you can take that with you, like, oh, this is confusing. Bridget didn't even think they were clones.
Yeah,
so
there we go.
A
consolation prize. Meanwhile, the first scene, I'm over here thinking she murdered herself. I was like, what is happening?
Did not clog that at all. I'm like, they look alike because they're sisters.
That's true. They did call each other sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, they're just
There's
related,
just like the
but also
floating.
mother.
It was very dreamy because there was like the floating, and I was like, okay, is this like a dream? Like, I thought maybe it was going to be like some like introspective multi-personality type thing at the very beginning.
Oh.
You know?
I'm kind of glad it wasn't that, but...
And you're like murdering a side of you that, whatever, who knows. But...
Yeah, write that next time.
No.
Write it.
That sounds cheesy. Okay. Are you ready to close it up?
I am.
Okay.
We have a podcast episode.
Wow, look at us.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns, and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by Bridget. The podcast art was done by Tanisha Vernikar, and the podcast was edited by me, and I also made our theme song. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Split Fiction. I've already finished it in a twist.
In a very surprising twist. That's the most dramatic part of the episode today. I have gotten the promise from Chris that he will finish with me before we record. He has promised.
Yay.
Yes. It's been really good so far.
You have to play it with someone. Like, you cannot play it solo. So
yeah. I know, I can't. I only have 2 hands. But he said he will, and he's been really enjoying it too. It's just that the WoW stuff released. And so he's been wowing.
He's been wowing.
2 weeks. Wowing.
He's been wowing. Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah, but I like it. And it's also gotten us big bucks in our gaming league. Critics League. We have the highest ranked game so far because of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good for us. We had the foresight.
Good for us. If you're a listener and you have a recommendation for a game that you think will be critically acclaimed this year, let us know.
Yeah, that is not the obvious ones.
Not the obvious. Special, rare gems. Let us know.
Yeah. And then after Split Fiction, I think we're going to do Wanderstop. And then after Wanderstop, we're going to do Blueprints.
Yes, we've got
So we have a schedule again. It's exciting.
A real schedule. We're going to be back with episodes and everything. Yeah. Exciting.
Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.